enjoying it.
Having fun?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
It's good.
And welcome back. Hello, this is Talk Solent. My name's Chris Ryder. My two guests who are on the sofa here are Ptol Slattery, that's right, it is Ptol, and he's a channel windsurfer. And over here is Marilyn Robinson, who survived the Clapham Rail Disaster and is well able to talk about it and has got the whole thing in perspective. And it's lovely to have her here telling us this story 28 years on. We're going to just continue talking a little bit about disasters. What I didn't remind everybody of was that the Clapham Rail Disaster was all caused by a signal failure due to a wiring fault. Apparently the technician who was responsible for that hadn't been told that he was doing the wrong thing, and his work hadn't been inspected by an independent person. The recommendations included ensuring that work was in future independently inspected. A senior project manager was to be made responsible for all safety critical work, and British Rail in fact were fined £250,000 for violation of health and safety laws. You're not too happy that everything that should have been done has actually been done, are you, Marilyn?
No. We've campaigned year after year to have more and more safety, but in fact, across all the train network, it's far too expensive for them to do it.
Which actually leads me to say that this is a point we hadn't established on the programme, is that you're actually now a campaigner. You founded a group, didn't you?
I wouldn't call myself a campaigner.
Yes, you have a campaign group, don't you, I think,
yes.
called Disaster Action?
Yes, I'm a founder member of Disaster Action, and everybody that got together initially had come from the disasters, because at that particular time there were a number of disasters, one following another, like Lockerbie and Piper Alpha, and those. And gradually people managed to get themselves
There were quite a number of train disasters as well, where they're one on top of the other, and everybody said, hey, what the heck's
Ladbroke
going on?
Grove there was, and yes, and others.
So what does Disaster Action do?
Right, over the last 20 odd years, we have come together to campaign, if you like, but most of the people that were within the group were not survivors, they were bereaved. It was only recently that we gathered other survivors to actually have someone take corporate responsibility for, like, not inspecting work or whatever else was caused. And then it went on to something like, say, the tsunami, where people were injured and died abroad, and people wanted to go out to either see the bodies and return them home, or to actually be with people who had got injured. And some were allowed to go, but some were not, for various reasons. And these are just sort of random things I'm picking out. But if you work with, say, a coroner, up until recently, each coroner in the location across the country would act slightly differently. There was no concept of everybody doing the same thing for a
They were
specific
quite all
reason.
on the same page.
Not at all. And if there is a major disaster, now we know that it's good to set up an area where people can go to either view the people that have died, to be with other people, to find out what they need to do, where they might get assistance, all of these things which are natural, but there was nothing like that in our day.
And is some of that due in no small part to your organisation?
Yes, very much so. We've campaigned without government money. We didn't want government money, because then the government might tell us what to do, and we in fact have told the government what.
But money is what you need to keep going, isn't it?
We've always
Hence
needed
this book.
Yes, we brought that out.
I
Yes.
don't know if you can actually see this book. I'll just hold that up there. Maybe you can get a little shot of that book. It's called Collective Conviction. There's a lot of disasters, I think, listed on the front here.
Yes.
So who wrote Collective Conviction? It's not just about the Clapham crash, is it? It's about...
No, it's about everybody that has joined our organisation or has had something to do with it, having a little bit of input into each of their ideas, their acts, their disasters, their whatever it might be. I mean, it's encompassed other things, like people being murdered abroad and lots of other things, but each person who's wanted to contribute has had the ability to contribute. And something like Hillsborough, which is still going on, I mean, that's still important today, and a lot of people just, oh, well, they're still going on about it. Well, actually, if you've been involved in it and knew from the other side what was going on, you would want to be involved in it, because you don't want that to happen again.
Indeed.
And they have changed football stadia and the way people are handled. There's lots of changes being made over the years.
So Collective Action, which I think is written collectively, jointly at least, by two ladies, Anne Eyre and Pam Dix, just simply go on to Amazon, I guess, or one of those, and you get, how much does the book cost?
I think it's only $9.99 or something. It's really inexpensive, and it's a very good reference book for anybody that's in anything to do with people that are rescued or any of those communication jobs whereby you might come across an injured person, how to treat them, how not to treat them, what can add damage. You know, even boards when there's an accident on the motorway, I never look, because that's at the lowest peak of that person. Why would you want to be a voyeur? Because you would actually be possibly damaging it even more.
So, Marilyn, what have you been doing in the last 28 years? Because life has moved on. You became some kind of computer teacher, didn't you?
I was a computer lecturer, a computer studies lecturer in BCOT, Basingstoke College of Technology, and then I left, and then I went to teach within the Army and Navy, mostly the Army, and then I left after that and went to join a group of ladies. Actually, I knew about their company a long time before, and I actually was selling computer training.
Now, this is interesting, because when you were doing this, home computers were relatively new.
Yes.
People didn't trust them. I certainly didn't. I sold mine and bought a camera because I couldn't get on with it. And everybody was worried, weren't they, that the computer was going to take over your life and do you out of a job and would in fact be running your life.
And we can all see that it actually has.
I was going to say, they were right on that one.
And they used to say, oh, well, and there's a paperless office. Well, I'm still in.
Oh, the paperless office.
Paper,
yeah.
But
is yours a paperless office? No.
We try, but there are some things
it doesn't
you can't
work.
do.
No,
Everybody wants to possess what it is. I'm just about to go home in a minute and print out a whole sheaf of stuff. And my brother is helping me with the advanced motorists. I'd like to say the examination. And the first thing I've done is print out about 1 inch thick piece, because you can't read it all on the computer. You can't get in the car and say, oh, just have a look. You need to look it up on a piece of paper. But the whole of my forte, if you like, is working with people, and people who are frightened about something and taking the fear away, because most of us live our lives completely fearfully. And if you remove the word fear from their lives, they can do so much more. I'm
still afraid of the damn computer, actually. It has a mind of its own. I mean...
Well, I think what's changed things is having the new phones, because you can't do much damage. If you press a button once, press it again, and you go back to where you were. It's learning and understanding, and now things are more unified. But those days, no, if you touched an IBM computer or shouldn't advertise, but a digital computer, which they're no longer
other computers
around.
are available.
But you just could, yes, but you couldn't actually confer one to another. They actually didn't even communicate.
Computers were not friendly to the people using them.
That's because they've redesigned it from a geeky tech language to something that's in pictures. Because the human can look at pictures and understand in seconds.
No, I didn't want to program, yes.
You could buy those magazines with computer programs in, and you had to sit and type each line in yourself.
I don't think I've ever done that.
I did that once. It took me about a day to type all this in.
Yes.
And at the end of it, all it did was produce a little bat and ball that went across the screen. Well, I've wasted a whole day for that.
Maybe it's a masculine thing still, unfortunately, even though there was only ever one girl at a time on the course. But no, that doesn't turn me on. And I had to take the exam and prove I could qualify as well. But it just didn't do anything for me. But there are some really clever people, but they don't do the things, and they can't do the things that I can do and you can do. We're all unique, and we find our niche, and that's what we do. But anything I've done and gone on to do has always been to do with people and
I'm still stuck on computers. Do you remember when they used to say, you have committed a fatal error? You know,
oh, yes.
I haven't killed anybody. I've just touched a button, I think, but I didn't even know I'd touched it. Yeah.
I like the bear. Please enter your response.
Yeah.
But there's still fatal errors. I had one on my phone last week, a fatal error, would you believe?
On your phone?
A fatal error, 555. I have no idea what that was.
Must be a gambling website or something.
No, I wasn't on the net. It was I sent an email that
probably
was rejected.
started a tsunami off South Sea Beach, but he'll love it. So.
Oh, I think the waves are a bit higher. But yeah, no, I think it's always been people. I think if you're a people person, then it doesn't matter what you're offered as a job to do, you will do it, because it's the people bit that's the important thing.
Yeah, do you still find people are getting to grips with technology? I mean, particularly I'm thinking of older people. I mean, you are an amazing age. I won't say what it is.
I don't mind.
You don't mind?
No.
What? You're 70?
I'm 70, nearly 71.
71, and you sail happily through computers. Even though you are what they would call a silver surfer.
Well, don't call me silver anything.
Actually, you haven't got silver hair, have you? No,
no, I haven't actually got silver hair.
Sorry, I take that back. I'm sorry, I take that back. Yeah.
No, I think that's demeaning. Anything demeaning. I think old age pension. Why? Why not senior people who've got a lot of experience? And the thing that really gets my goat is that we're past it because we're over 60. You know, you've had it. Get off the planet. Well, no, sorry.
Make room for somebody else. No, you still got a long way to go, haven't you?
Oh, absolutely. Most of my family lives to the late 90s or up to 100, so I've got a lot of things.
You're a person who loves life. I can see that. I mean, you've demonstrated that right from the beginning of this programme, where you very much got to grips with one of the worst disasters in the country, and I'm not sure whether you love life or you couldn't care less, because you seem to me to be taking tremendous risks, but you'll tell me that you're not, won't you?
No, I mean, I'm scared of heights. I mean, I love snowboarding, I love windsurfing, I love high octane sports. I mean, a dolphin can swim like 10 miles an hour normally, 20 miles an hour to peak. On my windsurfing board, I can be doing up to 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, and I said to this guy before the programme started, I said, you wouldn't recommend anybody to go out windsurf, or you wouldn't go windsurfing in weather like we're getting at the moment, would you? And he said, yeah, I would, I'd love it, wouldn't you?
Well, if I wasn't here, I would be out on the water right now.
It's crazy, man.
No, you don't understand the passion and enjoyment you get. Because
I understand the passion and enjoyment, but I also understand the danger.
No, it's not that dangerous. You just pick your conditions. If it's really windy, like today is 50 to 60 mile an hour winds, you look for some flat water, so you go in a harbour and you find somewhere like, say, Weymouth or Portland Harbour, and it's safe as houses. Now, you may get those days or those conditions. You might get lucky at the moment, 3 days in a month.
You've just got unlucky because we're hitting another break. Flat water, I thought it didn't exist, but apparently it does. Apparently there is such a thing as flat water. We're back after the break to do another part of this programme, so come back and join us in a moment.